Hi, in this video we're going to start looking at how to lie with Photoshop. And in this little project what we're going to do is we're going to create a deep fake photo. So we're going to take a celebrity and we're going to put them somewhere where they weren't and make it look as realistic as possible. We're going to lie with Photoshop. So I'm going to use Old Search, which is a Creative Commons search engine for searching for images. And let's say I want an image of Donald Trump. I just click Google Images here and I click Search. And these are images which I can use quite freely. So these are images which are released under Creative Commons licenses. So I'm going to choose a picture of Trump and I'm going to then place him somewhere where he wasn't. A deep fake picture. So let's say I take this picture here. So I'm going to click it and I'm going to go right click and I'm going to go copy image. And I've got Photoshop open here. So I'm going to now go File, New, and this will create a canvas the same size as the picture that I copied. So I'm going to click OK. Creates this new canvas. And then I'm going to go Edit Paste or Control V, and I've got a picture there of Donald Trump. But the problem is that he's got this whole background behind him, and I want to put him in a situation which is different. So this is a real photo. I'm going to alter this and place him somewhere else. So I need to remove the background, leaving just Donald Trump here. So I'm going to have to go to my layers. So this little box on the right-hand side here is a layers box. And I'm going to add a new layer. And I do that by going down to the bottom here. And you can see here there's a little pad with a page kind of peeling up. And if I click that, it makes a new layer. And I'm going to drag that to the bottom. Now here's a little trick. While I remove the background here, I need to see if I'm making any mistakes. So what I'm going to do is create a kind of really vivid color for my background. I'm going to remove that later. So I go into the little palette over here on the menus. And I'm going to choose a vivid pink. So I just click on it. I go OK. And now when I click on the little paint tin here, and I've selected this layer 2, if I just go like that, it creates that vivid pink layer. I'm going to move that layer to the top, and you can see that that's what I've created. And I'm going to move that to the bottom. Now, one of the things that you need to do is name your layers. So layer 1, if you just go double click where it says layer 1, you can give it a name, and that's my layer where I've got Trump. My background layer here, I'm going to call background. And at the moment, it's a vivid pink, but I'm going to remove that and replace it with a photograph later. To remove this background, I need an eraser tool. But first of all, I'm going to use my hourglass just to zoom in. So if I go View and I go Zoom in, I've got it a little bit bigger. And now I can choose my eraser. The eraser is one just above the paint tin. And if you right-click on it, you'll notice you've got an eraser tool, you've got a background eraser tool, and you've got a magic eraser. So if I click on Magic Eraser, what it does is it removes a color. Ooh, you see I was clicking there, but I had selected the background. I need to make sure I've selected Trump. And now when I click it, you notice it removes whole color blocks. And you can go through and just remove bits of color. So if I'm clicking on the blue there, it'll remove that shade of blue. I can do it that way. Or if I select the ordinary eraser tool, I can just go back and forth with my mouse and erase it. And that actually kind of works best for when I'm far away from Donald Trump. By the way, this process is called deep etching. So what I'm doing now is deep etching. And you'll notice it's got a kind of size to that there. And if I go up to the top here, you'll notice that these are the properties of the eraser. So whatever tool you've selected, these are the properties at the top. So I can make my eraser bigger or smaller. So if I go up in the size, you'll notice it's now very big. And I can use that to kind of go fairly close to what I want to remove. Then I can take it down a notch and I can continue. And there's a whole person here that I need to remove. And I'm going to carry on doing that. And then as I get closer and closer to the figure, I need to just change the size and take it down and down and down. So you carry on doing that until such a time as you've removed the background. And this is painstaking work. I'm afraid if any of you become graphic designers or something like that, and you'll notice I'm making lots of mistakes, I'm not being very careful, you will spend most of your time as a graphic designer doing this kind of thing, because this is the most popular way to manipulate images. And I'm just going to, I'm probably making horrendous mistakes, but this is an instructional video. This is not a finished project. So I'm kind of fairly happy that I've captured it. Now, my background has disappeared again because I made a mistake. So I just got to go and click on it. By clicking on the vivid pink, what you can see is you can see far more clearly where it is that you need to work with your eraser, because you can see that background quite vividly. So what looked kind of accurate now suddenly doesn't look quite so accurate. And you just very carefully deep etch away the bits that you don't want. Okay, now obviously if I was doing this professionally, I would be a lot more careful, but I think that's pretty good work for a quick little job like this. So now I'm going to go File Save, just to save the document. I'm just going to go File Save as. I'll save it to my Downloads folder. Give it a name. I'm going to go Trump, and I'm going to save it as a Photoshop document. By saving it as a Photoshop document, and you just go OK, that allows you to continue work on the document in Photoshop with all your layers. So now I need to place a background behind here where I want Trump to be. So I go back into my old search because I want images which are available for copyright, and I'm going to lie and I'm going to say that Trump was actually in London. So I'm going to look for a pic. No. Oh, there we go. So I needed some kind of credible background where Trump might have been. That's fairly recognizable, so let me just choose that one. And I go right-click and copy image. I'll just open up Photoshop fully again. So now I go into my background image, and I want to paste that image in. So I go Edit, Paste. And you'll notice it's way, way, way too big. I can just see a bit of the roof there. So if I go to Image, and I go to Image Size, I can then control it there. And if you keep it with a little lock on it, if you change the width, what it does is it automatically resizes the height so it stays in proportion. So I'll try 100. Ooh, and that has changed my whole image. So that's not the one I want. So I go Control Z. Now you'll notice that I got the wrong one. No biggie, Control Z, you just go back. What I really want to do is be in that layer for the background. So I'm just going to call it background image. Always name your layers. And then I need to go Edit, and the one I'm looking for is Transform the Scale. So it's not the image size, it's transforming the scale. And you'll notice now I've got a handle here, and I can start just dragging from the corner. Dragging from the corner should keep it in proportion. And I just keep doing that until the image gets the right size. There we go, it's starting to get the right size. Oops, I think I've messed up a little bit there. And I don't think I chose the right image, but you kind of get the idea. There we go. There's Trump trying to make a phone call in London, and I'll just size it like that. I think that looks fairly amusing. And that's it. My deepfake picture. Now, to save it, I need to go File, Save, and it asks me to apply. So I've been transforming the scale of the background image. So I just have to apply that first, and you notice it's now settled. When you're happy with your image, and I'm happy with that one, I then go File, Save As, and I've got my Trump Photoshop document. So I want to save it as a Photoshop document. That means I can go back and edit it later, and it will have all these layers. But you can't put a Photoshop document into a Word document or into a web page or anything like that. So instead, what I'm going to do is also, so I always save twice, once as a Photoshop document that I can edit, and secondly, as some kind of format that I can use. So I keep the same name, but where it says format here, I can go and choose either a GIF or a JPEG or a portable net graphic. Those are the three kind of formats which you can use in Word documents, you can use them in Adobe documents, and you can use them on the internet. So I would choose one of those. I'm going to save it as a JPEG because it is a photographic format, and that's built for JPEG. So I just go Save, and it's keep the default settings. I could make it a higher resolution. I'm just going to go Save, okay. And then in my Downloads folder, I should have two files, one for a Photoshop deepfake photo and one for my JPEG. Have fun with this. Really lie with Photoshop.